Welcome to this episode of Bible Bites, and we're looking at Philippians 2, 1 through 4. So if there's any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Uh, Paul is getting at kind of the heart of what he wants to push with these Philippians. We find out later that there's just really an issue with unity in this body, somehow for a number of reasons. And what Paul is saying is if there's any transformation that comes from your relationship with Christ, any hope in Christ, any transformation that comes from love, probably here, the love of the Father. So you've got this Trinitarian uh, thing that's happening here: Christ, the Father, the Spirit. Participation is koinonia, this idea of fellowship in the Spirit. If there's any movement of the gospel and Christ in your hearts, this affection, this sympathy, this is what it should look like. Be united, same mind, same love, full accord, one mind. You notice that there's this idea of unity again and again. He's talking to these believers. He's saying, if you really are transformed by the gospel, and you are, it should be since you are, then have this unity that is deep. This full accord here is something like united in spirit. Really, it's like co-spirited. This one mind here is thinking one, one thought, one purpose, one attitude they're supposed to have. Paul really is saying the gospel should be putting you on the same page with other believers, particularly in the local church. And one of the ways that manifests itself is the way we treat each other. Don't be doing things out of selfish ambition or conceit. This word here is vain glory. This glory we give to ourselves, but it's empty. It's vain. It's not real. It's just what we think of ourselves. Instead, in humility, with a right view of ourselves, let's lift others up. Count others. Look at this. We value others so deeply. We regard them even more significant than ourselves, more important in some ways, right? He says, don't look at your own interests only, but the interests of others. See, that's what the gospel does. That's why Christ came. This sacrificial living, this idea of him washing the feet of his disciples is I think, looms large here. So unity, one purpose, one attitude, the gospel. So the way we treat each other is put others first, lift them up, live selflessly. In our marriages, we do that for our spouse, with our children, in our church, with other brothers and sisters in Christ, for the sake of his gospel. Hope this is an encouragement and challenge to you today.